lie in the Himalayas. The most secretive and least understood of all the great cats, the snow leopard is the top predator. There may be as few as 4,000 snow leopards left in the wild. A world population that is thought to be dwindling every year. But nobody knows for sure. Recorded over 5 years, this film reveals the fascinating life of this little-known big cat, the spirit of the mountains. Snow leopards are secretive and perfectly camouflaged. They can melt away at the least hint of danger. So thin on the ground and so elusive, they can be extremely hard to find, let alone film. The pioneering wildlife filmmakers Naresh and Rajesh Bedi presented the first rare glimpses of snow leopards to the world, filmed in Ladakh. Ever since, they have longed to make a more intimate study of the cat, popularly known as the grey ghost of the mountains. Hearing of snow leopard sightings in the Spiti area, the Bedi brothers, both now in their mid-70s, have returned to the mountains to fulfill their long-cherished dream. The Spiti Valley is set in the remote mountains of the Indian state of Himachal Pradesh. The name Spiti means the middle land, the land between Tibet and the Indian Himalayas. It is a cold, high-altitude desert with sparse vegetation, a very hard place to live for humans and wildlife alike. The Bedi brothers have chosen the remote village of Chicham as their base. At 4,120 meters above sea level, it is one of the highest permanently inhabited settlements in the world. Their first priority is to win local support and learn as much as they can about any snow leopards seen in the area. They meet village elders in the warm kitchen of Dorje Namgyal.
आपने भी कभी स्नो लेपर्ड देखा कभी?
स्नोबर्ड नहीं देखा जी।
आपने नहीं देखा?
नहीं देखा।
कभी एका दुक्का देखा होगा, 5 साल में एक बार देखा होगा जैसे। उस जंगल में वो गए, वो घोड़ा मर गए तो उस दिन देखेगा नहीं, तो जंगल में कितने होगा नहीं होगा क्या देखेगा नहीं।
The villagers regard the snow leopard or shun as a threat to their livelihoods. Village elders give the Bedi brothers their wholehearted support.
The villagers are surprised by our enthusiasm to see a snow leopard. We soon discover that riding a yak without a saddle takes skill. We have to hold on tight to the yak's long hair.
To find a snow leopard is a real challenge. There may be as few as 200 in the Indian Himalayas. Winter is a good time to look for them as they follow their prey down the mountains, leaving telltale pug marks in the snow. Gompo, a 46-year-old school teacher, has agreed to join the Bedi brothers team. Snow leopards don't have a permanent home, but continually roam their extensive territories. They could be anywhere. Their dappled, smoky grey and white coat provides perfect camouflage. A snow leopard is extremely difficult to pick out against a rocky mountainside until it moves. Solitary and wary, Shun is perfectly adapted to survive in this high-altitude mountain habitat at elevations between 3,000 and 5,200 meters. The next day, the team helped Naresh set up a camera hide overlooking a path known to be used by snow leopards. Will Shun ignore the hide or take fright?
Now it is a matter of waiting patiently in sub-zero temperatures. It is not easy sitting still and silent for hours on end with my hands and legs freezing. After a long, cold week in the hide, the weather clears and my luck turns. 3 bharal appear in the gorge below me. Then I realize that I am being watched. Perhaps as surprised as me, the snow leopard is trying to figure out what it has found. It cautiously edges back, its piercing gaze fixed on the hide.
As the sun climbs, a herd of blue sheep appear on the hill opposite. With a blue-grey sheen to their brown coats, they are not sheep, but sheep-like mountain goats. Locally known as bharal, they are the favorite prey of snow leopards.
Much later, I was thrilled when another snow leopard appeared on the slope just below the hide. This one a large male.
The bharal are quick to notice him, but are not alarmed as they know they are safe with the deep gorge between them and the predator. Gompo believes that he is the dominant male in this area. We name him Karma, the king. He has a broad face with a distinctive black patch on his forehead. He appears to be 6 or 7 years old. Karma waits patiently, hoping a bharal may come close enough for a surprise attack. The blue sheep move away, but Karma has not given up. Snow leopards are most active at dawn and dusk. The sun sets. It is time for Karma to hunt.
We soon realize that the hide is not a very good option for filming, as a snow leopard may only pass through the area once in a week, if at all. To improve our chances, Gompu sets up automatic camera traps.
Snow leopards patrol major ridge lines and scent mark certain rocks, often at the base of cliffs. For weeks, nothing. Then a few whiskers and some fur. A pair of shy snowcocks search for seeds. And a red fox picks up an interesting scent, but no clear view of the grey ghost.
But then, after a few months, Karma visits to leave his unique calling card by means of a well-aimed jet of urine. This is a dating site where these solitary cats post their profiles. A few weeks later, a female appears. She looks younger and has distinctive markings on her back. We name her Pema. A third snow leopard appears, another female. We name her Lamo, meaning the goddess. She rubs her face against the rock, leaving her scent. She may be the dominant female, perhaps 6 years old. Her scent may carry information about her sex and condition. Important news for a male seeking a mate.
Each individual has a unique pattern of rosettes and spots by which it can be identified. The camera traps reveal that there may be only 3 or 4 adults in the area.
On the advice of our guides, we move to the high plateau, which is crisscrossed by snow leopards on their way from one valley to another. We walk for 2 hours, but for the steep climb, we have to ride yaks. By noon, we reach the midway point. Rajesh and I are completely exhausted.
Yes, very tiring, exhausting, steep. And sitting on yak, your bottom gets absolutely tired, stiff. It's not a joke. Looking for snow leopard, and that too is not looking through your camera and getting something worthwhile makes your life bloody difficult. But that's the challenge, and that's why we are here.
It is late afternoon by the time the team reach a cave, often used by local herders. It will be their base for the next fortnight. The Kibber Wildlife Sanctuary was established in 1992 to help protect the snow leopard, ideal habitat for bharal and ibex.
We are relieved to see a herd of bharal. Snow leopards silently shadow them as they roam the mountains in search of the sparse vegetation. Shan is a master of camouflage. We know they are here somewhere. It is unnerving to realize they may be watching us right now.
The Bedi brothers rely on their local trackers to find snow leopards, an often dangerous task. Like Shan, these men have been wandering these mountains since childhood, keeping watch on the family's livestock. The search continues day after day, but the team have no luck.
हाँ भाई
Jule ji,
झूले झूले कैसे
बस जी बढ़िया.
The Bedi brothers are beginning to worry they won't find Shan again. Tracking is intensified. Dorji and Funsuk leave camp each morning. It is early February, the height of the breeding season. Finally, a breakthrough. Dorji finds fresh puck marks of 2 snow leopards heading towards the gorge. Funsuk hears yowls and recognizes them as typical snow leopard mating calls. The Bedi brothers hurry towards the gorge. After weeks of waiting, they are in for a surprise. An unknown male snow leopard.
We cannot tell if the male has been attracted by the female's mating calls or is just passing through. To our surprise, Lamur emerges from the gorge, moving towards the new male. This is Karma's territory, and the trespassing male seems nervous. To avoid any confrontation, he moves away. His large paws, well covered in fur, act like natural snowshoes. Lamo continues to call, perhaps hoping to attract his attention. Unmoved by her calls, the unknown male continues on his way and is not seen again.
One day, yowls are heard coming from the direction of the gorge. Recent genetic studies reveal that snow leopards are more closely related to tigers than to the common leopard. But unlike tigers, they cannot roar. The team find Karma looking around anxiously. It is surprising to see Pema approaching, not Lamo, who's also in the area. Lured by Pema's calls, Karma responds. Karma finds Pema. Both exchange warning snarls. For most of the year, adult snow leopards are solitary, carefully avoiding each other. Only the necessity of mating brings them together for few days. Karma, who is a good deal older than Pema, looks exhausted. Pema departs. She must be hungry, as during their time together, the pair won't have fed. A herd of ibex on the move catches Pema's attention. She knows the route they will take and prepares to ambush one at the foot of the cliff. There is hardly any scientific information available on the hunting behavior of snow leopards in the wild, as it is so rarely witnessed. The exceptional agility of snow leopards is key to their survival. With short, strong forelimbs with large paws and long hind limbs, they are well equipped for climbing, running, and leaping. The extraordinarily long tail acts as a counterweight, enabling them to maintain their balance.
It is electrifying to watch Pema's stealthy approach. She knows when to freeze, when to advance. The cold calculations of an instinctive killer. He needs to get within 30 meters to launch an attack. Her cover is blown. She has not been lucky this time. I am amazed to see her clinging to the vertical rock face. Such behavior may never have been filmed before. Pema is hungry and anxious to hunt. She tentatively climbs a narrow cleft in the rock. Every move is slow and deliberate. Noticing the predator, the ibex move away. Looking disheartened, she climbs down, as if in slow motion. Taking about 10 minutes to descend rocks she could easily have leapt down in seconds.
The team returns to Cheecham, hoping Hungry Pema makes a kill during the night. A storm marks the start of 6 long months of winter in Spiti. Himalayan ibex have a dense coat with an inner layer of down to insulate them against the icy wind as temperatures drop to minus 30 degrees Celsius.
Unexpected storm forces us back down to the village. It is a terrifying experience.
The blizzard continues for the next 3 days. With more than 2 meters of snow, Cheecham is cut off from the rest of the world. It is May. The snow has gone and the hills are tinted green. After 3 months, the Bedi brothers return to Spiti. But to reach their base in Cheecham village, they need to cross the gorge.
A bridge over the gorge has been under construction for 8 years. But for now, the villagers must risk their lives in a tiny cable car. We have no option but to use the same flimsy system every time we need to cross the gorge.
The herds of ibex and bharal will have moved up the mountains. To have any chance of finding a snow leopard, the team must also follow the herds up to their high mountain pastures. Gumpo has arranged for 8 donkeys to transport the team's gear to the new camp. The longer days, warmer weather and snow melt of spring trigger dormant plants into growth and a riot of color. It is hard to find snow leopards in summer, as they leave few traces on the vegetation or dry ground. Naresh begins his search with Darya, the senior tracker. For a week, nothing. Then the team find the carcass of a young ibex on a steep cliff. Nearby, scat and one fresh pug mark.
Our trackers take up position overlooking the snow leopard's trail. The area is extraordinarily quiet. We hear no birds or animal alarm calls to indicate the presence of shun. It is tiring and frustrating when you don't find anything day after day.
तो कितना और इंतजार करना पड़ेगा?
वो तो बोल नहीं सकते, अभी तो 10 दिन तो हो गया, अभी भी कुछ नहीं देखा देता है, बोल नहीं सकते ना, मुश्किल ये है।
जंगल का काम ऐसे ही है।
हाँ, कभी तो फटाफट मिल जाता है, कभी तो कुछ नहीं हुआ, सब
There is nothing more that the Bedi brothers can do but be patient. Perhaps the camera traps will reveal something.
ये तो कुछ नहीं इसमें तो.
मॉर्निंग का शॉट लगता है जी.
अरे इसको देखते हैं. स्मेल कर रहा है मेरे ख्याल. ये देखो स्नो लेपर्ड की. बिल्कुल अलर्ट है. देखो एकदम चारों तरफ ध्यान रखो.
कैमरे की तरफ देख रहा है जी.
ये हिला दिया कैमरा बिल्कुल.
कैमरा हिल गया ये.
अरे वाह. देखा
ये
ये
बहुत अच्छा जी मार्किंग करते हुए.
लामो लगती है जो है डोमिनेंट फीमेल जो है.
ये बहुत खूबसूरत है जी. बढ़िया. याक डंग लगती जी इसमें. ये स्मेल कर रही है.
अरे ये देखो क्या शानदार है. अब इसमें देखो इसका जो पेट है कितना बड़ा हुआ है. एकदम एडवांस स्टेज ऑफ प्रेगनेंसी लगता है.
बल्जिंग पेट है बहुत. बच्चे देने वाली लगती है.
और टाइम भी यही है आजकल इनका बच्चों का. अगर हमारी टीम फॉलो कर सके इसको, इसका डेन ढूंढ सके तो मज़ा आ जाएगा फिल्म में राजा.
The discovery that Lamu is pregnant is exciting news and boosts the morale of the Bedi brothers and their team. The team check the cliffs along the Spiti River. It is difficult terrain, but there are many natural caves which Lamu might use for a den. With boundless enthusiasm, Gompo reaches a hazardous cliff ledge for a view into the deep gorge below.
I notice a llama gyre overhead. Himalayan griffin vultures follow. They are not landing. Perhaps there is a kill, and a snow leopard is still around.
It proves to be Karma, the aging king of these mountains. Reluctant to give up the carcass of an old male ibex, eventually, having fed well, he decides to leave. Foxes are quick to claim the remains of the carcass and hurriedly snatch whatever they can. Karma retires to an abandoned rock shelter, lying on a pile of goat droppings. If undisturbed, he may spend the whole day here, digesting his enormous meal. Now that Karma has gone, the vultures dare to land, but have to contend with the foxes. A young lamagaya waits his turn. He is after the bones. Besides keeping the numbers of large herbivores in check, a snow leopard provides food for the many scavengers that clean up the leftovers. An adult lamagaya is intent on feeding in peace. It may drop its bony prize from a height in order to break it into more easily swallowed fragments. There was not much left for the hungry vultures, and they depart in search of another meal along the snaking course of the Spiti River. There is a baby boom in the valley. Ibex kids follow the does down from the inaccessible cliffs where they were born. They're now at a much greater risk from snow leopards, wolves, lynx and golden eagles as they frolic in this dangerous playground. The search for Lamo has been going on for 3 weeks. She must be ready to deliver her cubs, but there is no sign of her. Some snow leopards shadow herds of village yaks to attack their young calves. Gompo's yak has given birth to a female calf, and he is concerned that he may lose it to shun. Several calves are taken every year, causing the villagers significant financial loss. Gompo finds Karma raking his claws on a grassy clump nearby. He follows Karma to a nala where he had pulled down a year-old calf early this morning. Camera hides are positioned in the evening, and the team returns to camp.
The following day, we set off at 4 a.m. as we expect it will take 2 hours to reach the hide. But it takes much longer, and Karma is feeding when we arrive. He looks a little mystified. Our slow, quiet approach seems to reassure Karma, and yet he moves away. We are concerned that he might abandon his kill, but to our surprise, he settles down on a rocky cliff with a clear view of the carcass. The vultures and other scavengers will not dare to approach the carcass as long as Karma is there. Rajesh and I wait in our hides for almost 10 hours. As light begins to fade, Karma returns to feed. His powerful jaws cut the ribs and smaller bones, a rich source of calcium and other vital minerals. We feel lucky to capture a few brief, intimate moments of Karma at close range. It has been a long day, but very rewarding. Our first sighting of a snow leopard in 3 weeks.
Age is catching up with Karma, and he looks weak. Perhaps he's no longer able to hunt agile wild prey, and that is why he has resorted to killing a yak calf. Karma feeds through the night. The team explores new areas in the hope of finding Lamo. For weeks, there is no sign of her. It is disturbing. Has she left the area for good? Or is she out of sight in a den following the birth of her cubs? She must have given birth by now. Her cubs will be hungry, and she will have to hunt for them. Now is the best time to find her. Gompo was shocked to stumble upon Lamo at close quarters. Is she guarding a den? Gompo quickly moves out of her sight and carefully scans the area. Then he makes a thrilling discovery. Two cubs outside a cave, enjoying the sun on a cold, windy day. About 6 weeks old, one bigger, maybe male, another smaller, perhaps female. Gompo names them Tashi and Dichen. This is the first time that a natural den with cubs has been filmed in India. The exciting news reaches the Bedi brothers. It takes them 3 days to reach the remote location of the cave. The team must reach the area before dusk, even if it requires an undignified donkey ride. They set up camp well away from the den to avoid any possible disturbance. The Bedi brothers can't wait to film the cubs the following day. Early the next morning, the team reaches a vantage point facing the den.
We wait for more than 3 hours, ever ready to film the cubs, but see no movement outside the cave. Perhaps the cubs are resting inside. Slowly, our excitement turns to despair as it becomes clear that there are no cubs in the den. It is heartbreaking. Our hopes of filming intimate behavior between mother and cubs are dashed. Lamo must have moved her offspring to another den, but she can't have taken them far as they are so small.
For 6 months, there is no sign of the young family. Then, one day, Darya catches a brief glimpse of Lamo and her cubs. But they are soon gone. A camera trap also records their visit. Now about 8 months old, both Dichen and Tashi are looking well. They are curious and can't resist licking the camera lens. This brief encounter with an extremely wary family reminds us how difficult it is to film snow leopards. They are not seen again for months. As summer turns to autumn, the verdant mantle of vegetation slowly withers and loses its vibrant colors. By October, the landscape has returned to a more somber palette of yellows, browns and grays. Yaks and other livestock are brought down to the shelter of the villages for the winter. As the sun sets, the temperature plummets dramatically, forcing the villagers indoors. Old and weak snow leopards, driven by hunger, sometimes come into the village at night. The least aggressive of all the big cats, they are not known to attack people, but quite an alarming visitor to find in your house all the same. If a snow leopard breaks into an animal pen, it often goes on a killing spree, resulting in disastrous losses. The State Forest Department and conservation organizations compensate villagers for their losses and persuade them not to kill the predator in retaliation.
We were shown these pelts in Ladakh in 1993. According to a recent survey, hundreds of snow leopards are still being killed every year across all 12 of their range countries, more than half in retaliation for attacks on livestock.
The prolonged absence of Lamo and her cubs is worrying the Bedi brothers. They fear that the family may have strayed into an area notorious for poachers.
It is a relief when we find Lamu and her growing cubs traversing cliffs in the gorge. They seem to be following a group of Bharal. Now about 16 months old, Tashi and Dichin are still entirely dependent on their mother.
The cubs are raised by Lamo alone. She struggles to provide enough for them while they learn the art of survival in this cold, unforgiving desert. Winter's first snowfall and the blue sheep rut is underway. The females are in estrus for nearly a month. The persistent males follow them everywhere, their minds set on one objective, to mate. Distracted by the rut, the Bharal are at their most vulnerable.
Later in the day, we discover that Lamu has ambushed an ibex doe. After opening up the carcass, she calls to her cubs, who have been hiding on the cliff, and climbs up to encourage them to come down.
Getting down is sometimes harder than climbing up. Their muscular build helps them absorb the shock of jumps and falls. In the dead of winter, our trackers are finding it hard to keep up with the snow leopard family. Lamo will follow the herds of Bharal and Ibex as they move from valley to valley in search of what little forage is available. The family of three head into another valley far beyond the reach of our team. Indeed, they were not seen again for the rest of the long, bitterly cold winter. The snow is receding, and it is spring once again in the Spiti Valley. The young Bharal are full of energy. Others relax in the sun, while red-billed choughs search their coats for ticks. The Bharal seem to enjoy this free service.
Our camera traps reveal that Lamo has moved back into the area. She regularly patrols her home range in search of prey, leaving scent marks and scrapes to warn other cats to keep away. Tashi and Dichin are now almost 2 years old, but still dependent on their mother for food and shelter. The family is roaming a large territory and frequently changing their hunting grounds. It is difficult to keep track of them.
One of the camera traps records rare footage of the young family on the move at night. Their large eyes provide exceptional low-light vision, enabling snow leopards to hunt in near total darkness. Gompo finds the cubs alone, lounging on a cliff ledge together. It looks as if Lamo has left them to fend for themselves. Dichin is more alert. She can hear the telltale sounds of dislodged stones. Ibex and Bharal are sure-footed climbers, able to dash up and down these rugged mountains with remarkable ease. A female ibex passes below Dichin, but not near enough to be within her reach. She must be patient. A group of male Bharal are also too far away to attack. Dichin gives up for the time being. She returns to Tashi, who preferred a rest to hunting. Already, their different temperaments are apparent. She huddles close to her brother. They groom each other's fur for mutual comfort. But they will soon go their separate ways.
6 months later, Tashi is sighted, now a fine-looking adult male. Nearby, a beautiful young female is seen near an ibex carcass. It is Dichin. Nearly 3 years old, Dichin and Tashi appears to be looking for partners. We hope they each play their part in increasing the numbers of this rare species. Winter has returned, and this is the last we see of them.
Heavy snow closes the mountain passes, and Cheecham is cut off from the outside world.
A new arrival has been sighted close to the village, a mature male with a yellowish coat. We name him Namka. Nearby, Karma is found on a cliff ledge. He is very lethargic and looking frail. His hindquarters are blooded. We can only guess the cause of his injury. Perhaps he fought with the new male Namka or was injured during a hunt.
Karma has been scavenging on village animals that have died from the severe cold. Enclosed during the winter, young and weak animals often succumb to diseases, poor nutrition, and lack of exercise. The village dogs have been waiting for this. Ever bolder and more aggressive, they have been known to steal kills from snow leopards. Karma seeks refuge under a ledge, well out of their reach. His thick, furry tail, almost a meter long, serves as a draft excluder. The dogs even challenge a powerful cat like Namka, but he does not seem greatly troubled by their barking. Namka dares to hunt in Karma's territory. Coming across a group of ibex, he prepares an ambush. With a flexible spine and long rear legs, snow leopards can quickly accelerate to over 60 kilometers per hour in a short sprint. Most of the herd escape. Namka now turns his attention to a single buck cornered at the top of the cliff. Any attempt to seize the ibex would send them both plummeting hundreds of meters into the gorge below. Perhaps, if Namka climbs out of sight, the ibex will make an unwise bid for freedom. This standoff between the snow leopard and ibex lasts more than 4 hours until late into the evening. The buck does not dare move despite his fatigue and uncomfortable position. But eventually, he escapes during the night. The life of a high-altitude predator is dangerous. To ambush and kill a powerful wild goat equally skilled at climbing these crumbling cliffs is no easy task. In a rare sequence of photographs, Namka attacks an ibex perched on a cliff edge. He misjudges his attack, and they both fall about 100 meters, landing on a steep snow slope below. Namka never released his grip and was soon able to subdue his prey. He has been lucky to survive such a fall. The Bedi brothers are concerned about Karma. He was very weak when they filmed him a fortnight ago. He has been seen looking for food in Kibber village and resting in a gorge nearby.
Karma looks very feeble and is shivering, clearly in a bad way. Sadly, he doesn't even have the strength to escape from a group of camera-clicking tourists.
Wildlife rangers from the forest department are keeping a close watch on Karma's condition. They worry that he might die of hunger as he's unable to hunt. With the help of villagers, a donkey carcass is provided. For a few days, he remains close to the carcass, feeding and resting at intervals. He lacks the strength to rip open the now frozen carcass. His canines look worn. He is unable to cut off pieces of flesh and has difficulty in swallowing even small bones.
It is heartbreaking to see Karma, the majestic ruler of these mountains, who we have followed for over 3 years, now in such a pitiable state. There is nothing we can do to help. We must let nature take its course. But he is about 10 years old, and so perhaps near the end of his natural lifespan. At dusk, it is time to return to our base 5 kilometers away. We have to climb the frozen and slippery slope above the cliff in the bone-chilling temperatures. Our difficulties seem as nothing when we think of Karma, struggling to survive the intense cold of the night in his pathetic condition.
The following morning, the not unexpected but sad news arrives. Karma died during the night. Dogs have pulled Karma's frozen corpse away so that they could feed on the remains of the donkey. A brief Buddhist mantra, Om Mane Padme Hum, is recited before Karma's frozen body is retrieved by the wildlife rangers. Karma died while trying to swallow a bone that became stuck in his throat. A well-known character in the Spiti Valley, Karma's tolerance of people brought joy to many wildlife enthusiasts and photographers, including the Bedi brothers.
It's very sad for the department as well as the people of Spiti. Prima facie, it looks the natural death. Postmortem yet to be conducted now.
Once Karma's kingdom, this vast terrain of mountains and valleys around Chicham and Kibber has a new ruler, 6-year-old Namka. It is the mating season. Namka is quick to respond to the calls of a female coming from somewhere in the gorge far below. Excited, he takes a risky shortcut, descending an almost vertical rock face. Following her calls, Namka finds Pema halfway down the cliff. Both exchange warning snarls. The brothers position themselves on the opposite side of the gorge. Namka's attempts to make Pema accept him are not working. He backs off. Namka is agitated and will not allow Pema to escape. Pema moves down the slope and makes herself comfortable. Namka has to wait for her aggression to subside. When ready, Pema positions herself in an invitation to Namka to mate. The mating ritual usually lasts 4 to 5 days, and the pair mate on average every 15 to 20 minutes. They may mate around 200 times to ensure success. After about 100 days gestation, Pema will give birth to her cubs. Mating over, Namka and Pema will resume their solitary lives. The Buddhist faith and traditions of local communities have helped protect this remote wilderness and its remarkable wildlife. The future of a handful of snow leopards in the little-known, awe-inspiring mountains around the Spiti Valley seems secure for now. Provided the peace and tranquility of the area is maintained, this magnificent cat will continue to flourish here, the spirit of the mountains.